The Galactic Council chamber fell into absolute silence. Commander Nancy stood at the podium, her hands gripping the edges as she stared down the assembled representatives of 17 different species. Behind her, holographic displays showed the smoldering ruins of what had once been thriving human cities. "You attacked Earth," she repeated, her voice carrying across the vast amphitheater with controlled fury. The Zephrani ambassador, a towering insectoid creature with compound eyes that reflected the chamber's light in kaleidoscopic patterns, shifted uncomfortably in his suspension pod. "Commander Nancy, you must understand, must I?" Nancy's eyes blazed. "Must I understand why you authorized a preemptive strike against a species that had done nothing but apply for council membership?" Parker, Nancy's second-in-command, stood in the observation deck above, watching the proceedings with clenched fists. He had begged Nancy to let him speak instead, knowing her anger might compromise their position. But she had insisted. This was personal. This was about their home, the Voth matriarch. Her crystalline form refracting the chamber's ambient light spoke in her melodious tone. "The strike was a miscalculation. Our intelligence suggested that humanity posed a significant threat to galactic stability." "A threat?" Nancy's laugh was bitter. "We were 3 months away from achieving faster-than-light travel. We had just decoded the Council's first contact message. We were preparing celebrations across every continent." She paused, her voice dropping to something more dangerous. "And then you attacked." The holographic display shifted, showing footage from Earth's defense satellites. The Council fleet had appeared without warning, their weapons already charging. Kinetic bombardment platforms, plasma cannons, biological weapons designed to sterilize continents. 17 billion humans, Nancy said softly. "That was Earth's population when you attacked. We deeply regret the loss of life." The Zephrani ambassador began, but Nancy cut him off with a gesture. "Regret?" She stepped away from the podium, pacing like a predator. "You regret it? Your armada spent 3 days systematically destroying every major population center. Your biologicals were designed to ensure no recovery. You intended genocide." Parker watched as several council members averted their eyes. "Good. Let them feel shame. What your intelligence failed to account for," Nancy continued, her voice growing stronger, "was that humans are very, very good at surviving." The display changed again. This time it showed the underground cities, the hastily constructed shields, the civilian fleets that had evacuated billions into the asteroid belt and Mars colonies. It showed the retrofitted mining vessels that had become humanity's first true warships. "You also failed to account for something else," Nancy said. And now there was something almost like amusement in her tone. "Humans really don't like being attacked." Parker smiled grimly from his vantage point. This was the part he'd been waiting for. The Voth matriarch's crystalline structure vibrated with what might have been nervousness. "Commander, we have offered reparations. We have extended membership to humanity with full privileges. You've offered these things because you're afraid," Nancy interrupted. "Not because you're sorry." She activated another display. This one showed the 100 human vessels currently in orbit around the Council's home worlds. Weapons that humanity had developed in just 5 years of desperate warfare. Quantum disruption torpedoes, singularity mines, and worst of all, the Reaper virus, a biological weapon reverse-engineered from the very plague the Council had unleashed on Earth in 5 years, Nancy said, walking slowly around the chamber, forcing the Council members to turn and track her movement. Humanity went from a pre-FTL civilization to the most feared military power in 3 sectors. Do you know why? Silence. Because you tried to kill us all. Because you made it personal. Because every human, every single survivor woke up every day with one thought: never again. Parker remembered those years, the frantic research, the sleepless nights. Nancy herself had led the team that cracked FTL technology, not through the Council's carefully guarded methods, but through sheer desperate innovation. She'd lost her entire family in the initial attack. So had Parker. So had everyone. "We could destroy you," Nancy said matter-of-factly. "Every world represented in this chamber could be rendered uninhabitable within a month. Our fleet is waiting for my signal." The chamber erupted in panic chittering, crystalline chimming, and guttural bellowing. The Zephrani ambassador's translator struggled to keep up with the cacophony. Nancy raised her hand, and silence fell again. "But we won't," she said quietly. "Do you know why?" The Voth matriarch's voice was barely audible. "Why? Because despite everything you did to us, we still believe in the dream of a galactic council, a place where species can work together, explore together, build together." Nancy's expression hardened. "But from now on, it will be OUR council too. Humanity will have a seat, an equal seat, and there will be laws. Laws against genocide, laws against preemptive strikes, laws with teeth." She returned to the podium, placing both hands on it, leaning forward. "You attacked Earth," Nancy said one final time. "You tried to exterminate us before we could become a problem. Instead, you created the very thing you feared most, a species that will never, ever forgive. A species that will never forget." She paused. "But also a species that will give you one chance to make this right." Parker watched as the council members looked at each other, their alien faces expressing the universal emotion of fear mixed with desperate hope. "The vote for humanity's full council membership and the new protection laws will commence now," Nancy announced. "I suggest you vote wisely." As the voting began, Parker descended to join Nancy. He placed a hand on her shoulder. "You think they'll learn?" he asked quietly. Nancy watched the votes coming in unanimous approval. As expected, "They'll learn. They attacked Earth once. They've seen what happens when you make humans angry. They won't make that mistake again. And if they do," Nancy's smile was cold, "then they'll discover what happens when you make humans truly angry." The vote concluded. Humanity had won its place among the stars, not through peaceful exploration, but through the crucible of survival. The Galactic Council would never be the same, and Nancy would make sure they never forgot why.